One exciting bloom that we're seeing today is the first bloom of our Jefferson Plum. This is now only the third spring of this tree. Actually, it was just planted 2 springs ago, so 2 full years in the ground, and it's grown to about 9 feet. And then we have these really just beautiful blooms that are right here in the top boughs of this tree. As you can see, if all these blooms are fertilized, this tree is going to be extremely prolific. So we'll just have to keep an eye on it and thin out the fruitlets if indeed we get that kind of fertilization. So really exciting. Our Jefferson Plum is flowering. Another blossoming tree here is our apricot tree, which is really in full bloom at this point. And if you can see, there's off to the left a few bees that are trying to keep up in the wind to pollinate these blossoms. So I guess these are the first bees I'm seeing this year. Sorry about the wind, it may be affecting the audio here. And going a little bit closer and check out some of these blossoms, which are they're just so beautiful throughout this tree. And then a few bees trying to do their thing. Really neat. A good sign of spring. Here we are at our cherry tree, and you can see some of the bees making their way into the tree, homing in on those early blossoms. Again, great to see the bees. And then we have a close-up of some of our early blossoms here. Let's see if we can get the camera to home in. It's just great, again, to see those bees up in the tree. Really excited for the rest of the spring. We're a little early for the pear blossoms, but you can see them actually taking form here on this green Bartlett. Let's see if we can home in on these. So I'm going to guess in the next week or so we're going to have full-blown blossoms on this green Bartlett tree. As we had mentioned before, a fewer number of blossoms here on this red Bartlett tree. Still too early to distinguish between the color of these blossoms and the green Bartlett. There's a couple more up top. On this shrub next to the house are a few blossoms that will be opening up in the next week or so as well. This is the Burnham, which is, I believe, from the cranberry family. Extremely fragrant, pinkish white flowers. This ornamental quince near our porch is also starting to bloom. It's still early. As you can see, the rest of the bush has mostly closed blossoms, but they'll open this week. When these are fertilized, we get a fairly astringent, hard fruit that can be converted into jelly. You may recall I planted a new tree, which is a sweet quince, a Russian variety that actually can allow you to eat the fruit fresh. This one you can't eat fresh, but very beautiful flower, very fragrant fruit to at least smell as opposed to taste. Our Juneberry bushes are probably a week and a half away from full bloom. It looks like, again, pardon the wind, we're going to have a significant number of Juneberries again this year. These taste sort of halfway between a cranberry and a blueberry. The birds get most of them. Our Dana Hovey pear is indeed going to have some blooms this year. Just a quick peek at these early blossoms. Just a handful of them on the tree, but a young tree still here in my pear orchard. Here we are, some early blossoms that have not yet opened on our white doyenne. And as I showed you earlier, we're going to have a fair amount of fruit on this tree. We have lots of blossoms. And then next door on what I think is our Anjou pear, sold to us as a bosque. Again, a fair number of choice looking blossoms here all over this tree. Apple trees are also getting ready to bloom. We have some pretty little early unopened blossoms here on this Caville Blanc d'Hiver. And then over here on our Ashmead's Kernel. And then finally here on our Esopus Spitzenberg, unopened blooms that in the next week or so are going to open right up and attract those bees, hopefully for some pollination.